Here's our road has gone into a bit of a lowland area. What do you think, babe?
I think it seems a bit watery. I just don't know how deep the watery is.
We're on an overland adventure and we're taking you with us. It's an off-road track through Central Oregon that we ran years ago with a small SUV, and today, and maybe tomorrow, we're taking our truck camper on this route. Stay tuned. Beautiful morning sunrise, heading down the remote parts of Central Oregon. We're running right at the end of the season for running this route, and you can see a little bit of snow has already come in, but it's kind of been burning off and coming in each and every other day, so it's pretty interesting. It's fairly rocky and bumpy, but we're just making nice, consistent progress here down the road.
I think it seems a bit watery. I just don't know how deep the watery is.
Looks rather icy.
It does.
There's quite a bit of ice on the top layer, but it looks as though there's gravel that they put in here probably to keep the mud down. So if that's the case, we might be able to get through it. If it turns into mud, it may not work so well. So maybe we'll see if we can get through here. I don't know. What do you think?
I guess we'll try it out and see what happens. Oh my goodness. That ice is about 4 inches thick. That ice is really thick.
Yeah, it is really thick.
I wasn't expecting that.
How deep were we on your side?
We're probably about 8 inches.
Just want to see how the bottom is, if it starts sinking down or if it's staying on top.
Ooh, we're definitely getting deeper.
Woo!
That was interesting.
That was very interesting.
That was really thick ice.
That was a lot of ice. Well, that was interesting driving through. You can see, look how thick the ice is. Of course, it's not thick enough to support the weight of the truck and the camper, but we basically were just breaking all the ice as we were coming through, and it seemed to do all right. We just had to give it a little bit of consistent throttle as we're coming through, but you know, halfway in, you kind of go, let's keep going. So we made it, woohoo! This part of the track is a little nicer.
Yeah.
It's pretty smooth and very scenic. Look at the beautiful views around here.
Yeah, we're gonna do a little bit of climbing and get out of the lowlands where all the water has been, so that'll be good.
If you end up running any of these tracks off-road during the wetter periods of the year, especially after a storm, just be sure to be really careful not to spin your tires or dig any holes, because it really destroys these roads fast. You have to really be careful with your throttle usage and just try to keep it really consistent, and keep it in four-wheel drive and lock it up if you got diff locks on your rig, and that way the roads don't get destroyed and they'll stay open for other people to go explore them too.
So Peter and I are starting the ascent to climb out. Where we were sitting was about 5,800 feet, and it's about 6,200 to climb to the edge of the park. Unfortunately, it's been really soft through this section, so we've been picking up a little mud. So Peter's trying to be as gentle as possible not to destroy the road.
Climbing out of the lowlands. It's a pretty interesting track here. It's very kind of rocky and yeah, it's very rough. We're just keeping a really consistent speed, about 5 miles an hour, so we if we hit something soft, we don't dig down, we can kind of just roll through it. And so far it's been doing pretty good. We've sunk a little bit in a few sections of road where I think they're just really wet, but otherwise it seems to be staying on the top fairly well.
As you can see, he's going up the hill and trying to keep some speed. As you can see, and we talked about, it's pretty wet, but he doesn't want to get stuck, nor does he want to destroy the road. So we're trying to be as gentle as possible.
Thankfully, the rocks are starting to get into the trail a lot more, so it's less muddy and we're not sliding coming up the hill, but we're just trying to keep a nice kind of momentum as we're going so we don't hopefully tear anything up. Woohoo! I think it's the top of that hill. Excellent. We just passed over 6,200 feet elevation. I think that's about the highest that this part of the track is going to take us. And it is beautiful. You can see the snow-capped mountains in the distance, and our road is getting a bit more,
Yeah, I think it's straight.
I would say less traveled. So we might be the only one that's been out here for quite a while.
On the old military road, we did find this very interesting little intersection. It's a bit muddy and a little tipsy, but not too crazy. It's a beautiful drive out here.
Look at that view coming down off of this track here, looking down at the lake. It's a bit of a rocky track, but not bad. We're descending over 1,000 feet in elevation. Decided to shift into low range just to have a little bit more speed control going downhill and not using the brakes. And it's beautiful. Really cool, rough track. Reminds me of something the old pioneers might be traveling on, or maybe an old homestead or something like that. It's just such a cool, beautiful, and kind of rough and rugged. Faith wanted to get her morning run in, so she's out running in front of the truck. Oh, I'm driving it down the hill here. All right, we got some steep, loose downgrade. Shift the transmission down and let it do all the slowing down here for us. Just running low range, first gear. It's holding our speed really well.
And it's beautiful.
Oh man. The route we were on actually has a plaque for it. It's an old military road from 1864. How cool is that? It's pretty fun driving down that thing, and it's so remote, but it's just, can't beat overland trips, destinations like this with views like that. Hey girl, what you find there?
There's a hot spring here, but I fell out, so the water's all cold.
Wow, this is a big old trough that's somebody threw a tarp in, and you can see that pipe has hot water coming into it, and then up the hill there's some mineral deposits from all the hot spring water coming down off the hill, and then it flows out down the valley here. But check out this view from this hot spring. I mean, goodness sakes, that's pretty amazing. But it's basically cold water.
It is. It's very, very cold water right now.
So,
not desirable to sit and soak in.
It's the verdict on the hot spring.
Unfortunately, the hot spring is on some private land. It's just outside of BLM. So we're gonna move on and find a BLM area to call camping tonight.
Yeah, so the hot spring source is actually
on BLM land.
BLM land, but the little tub and everything is private property. So obviously people are using it, but because yeah, we always check who owns land. It's just not, it's not a right to use people's property without getting permission. So we're gonna keep on rolling.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching our Oregon expedition video. Stay tuned for the next parts where we go into some deep snow and do some snow camping with our camper and see if we can get buried. We'll see how it goes and all the crazy mishaps that can happen along the way. Thanks for watching and be sure to subscribe. We'll catch you on the next video. Thanks.